Well, good morning. Longhaultanker, straight razor shaving with Longhaultanker, coming to you this morning on this Wednesday, 5th of November, 2025 at approximately 11:35 p.m. Central Time. And I'm at home in Onalaska, Texas, going to do a straight razor shave, and I've got just right at about maybe a little more than 3 days worth of whiskers on my face, which is about 24 hours longer than I care to go for, but I'm enjoying my retirement downtime and didn't feel a whole lot of compunction to have to get up and shave yesterday. All right, so on with the equipment and introducing the equipment. The razor that we're going to use today, I've used this many times. I've had it for a few years now. It is my Taylor Eyewitness 6/8 round point Taylor Eyewitness. You'll see the logo, Sheffield, England, and it says England there. You can see it, Sheffield, England, which tells us that it's post 1891 manufacture, blank on the backside, and it's just beautiful mint condition. It is a 3-pin, it feels like black plastic, and I'm assuming that this is the original, but scales, that is. And the only thing that gives me pause, and has every little bit of research that I've done, which is not a lot, I'm not like some people that just got to know everything about my razor, but I do try to know a little something about it. Anyway, the company ceased production, and I've got two dates. It's either 1924 or 1934. And I just find it interesting, especially the latter date, 1934, what that begins to get us into, since 3233, that's what I mean to say, 3233. Franklin Delano Roosevelt was elected president to his first term in the November election of 1932, and he and the German fellow both took office in the same year, 1933. So that's all I'll say about that. But I find it interesting that if the latter date is true, that they went out of business in 1934, a little bit of an overlap there with it's not a German razor, so it doesn't really matter. But all the world events that were beginning to unfold in those early years, World War II. Anyway, moving on from that. So it's honed up on my Caudicle A. And you may remember it was last year in August and September that I was using this, early September, that I went back and refreshed this, rehoned this several times, trying to get just a little bit more out of this razor, and think I did a good job. We'll see how it performs today. I don't think I've used it since last year. I don't think, but I may have. I don't recall, for whatever that means. My soap this morning is Sterling Soap Company's. I used to call this Deton 8 because I didn't know any better. I was corrected by a friend of mine. Bill M. actually said it's Detonate, and it's named after a popular high-end cologne. And so, okay, there's that. And then this is going to be the second usage of the Sterling Soap Company new release of the 28 millimeter knot boar bristle. And, I kind of chuckle, and I heard some recent comments or saw some recent comments about prep time and how much it takes to get a boar bristle brush broke in, and the soaking time. This thing's I've been soaking for approximately 5 minutes in the hot water as I'm getting my stuff laid out. I made no special effort to do anything extra above and beyond than what I ordinarily do to any brush, regardless of bristles. So don't pay a lot of attention to what some of these people say about, got to do this, got to do that. No, you don't. Just, just go with it. All right, let me put some water on my face. I've used a hot towel already, rag. I did a haircut with my shears, and so let's get the soap lathered up onto the brush. I want to give a little shout out to Mark over at Friendship Shaving. He's got a delightful, very interesting discussion on brushes, the relationship between the width of the knot, whether it's 28 or 24 or 22 millimeter. Versus loft. So he's got a real nice discussion about that I saw yesterday. Is on his most recent video, or one of the last couple most recent videos. And so that was very interesting. Thank you, Mark, for that. And he used one of my favorite razors in his collection, the Sheffield. Not sure who the manufacturer was, Wade and Butcher, if I remember right. But I've seen him use that razor before, and very nice indeed. So good shave. Mark always does a good job. He doesn't always use a straight razor, which is, my go-to, my preferred razor. I don't use DEs or anything like that. I am completely dedicated to the art and craft of straight razor shaving. Anything else is just a waste of time, in my opinion. It was never my intent when I got into the hobby to experiment with DEs, having to buy all of those extra blades. In fact, I was getting, and I know they're not expensive by comparison to a cartridge razor, but my whole point of getting into the straight razor was to have to buy, I say whole points, one of the points. Was to not have to buy blades. All right, let's do this and this and give a nice little massage here. And get it well hydrated, well moisturized. And it doesn't take much. Get all this soap collected, put it back on the brush or back on my face. The bristles are soft. The brush is well soaked. All right, we'll go with that. All right. Taylor Eyewitness, that's just a beautiful, beautiful example of Sheffield work at its finest. One of the manufacturers, Taylor Eyewitness, that helped to give Sheffield its name for razor making, steel making. Of course, you've got others like Wade and Butcher that are maybe more well known, but this is this is a rarity. This is a find. If you can find one in if you can find, in usable, good condition. I have two. This is a mint condition. The other one is not quite as, but it's still in excellent. On a scale, I'd say it's probably in the fine. It may not be excellent, it may not be mint, but it's certainly in a fine condition. All right, here we go. Oh yeah, that's fine. Yep, very good, very good. Well, I hadn't decided what my goal is going to be for today. I wanted to get this shave done, and I may just lay in the house today and not do much of anything. Or there's a couple of patches out in the yard that I may take my garden hoe to and chop them down. Left hand on the left side of the face. Well, I would say that feels pretty good. All right, third pass. All right, we'll do some sideburn trim and final strokes and onto the head shave. All right, I think that does it. On the face shave, let's get to the head shave and get that done. This is the Taylor Eyewitness, mint condition, 5/8 round point, just fabulous. And sometimes you can find these for a song, and so I did not pay very much. I just simply said I paid less than $100 for this mint condition Taylor Eyewitness. Just beautiful, absolutely beautiful razor, and got a good shave out of it this morning too. So we'll set that aside right there. Oh, this is the Fox Cutlery Soligen that I've been using for the last few shaves on my head. as I've always said, after I have a haircut with my clippers, it's hard to see the hairlines. And so I'll just kind of approximate, being generous not to cut too much off at this time. And then I can be more precise 2-3 days from now, 3-4 days from now, when the hair's grown out just a little bit more and I can actually see it. And I'm talking primarily about this line, these lines right here. I'm going to throw my brush down into the water and let it start soaking and get all that soap goodness melted down into the water, so that when I rinse my face here in a minute, I get all that soapy goodness, all those ingredients in the soap from Sterling Soap Company into my face. I'll just let that soak now. I've broken it mostly up, those clots of soap. Get them melted into the water, get them out of the brush by and large. All right. That feels pretty good. We'll call it quits. Done on the head shave. Let's put on some refinements and then we will close it out. So here's the Fox Cutlery razor that we used on the head shave, a little 5/8 barber's notch, Soligen. We've used this well, I just don't understand why that won't come into better focus. All right, set this aside. All right. So we have our Ozma alum block that we've been using for years and years and years. And you may recall here just in the last video or two, I showed you the Sterling Soap Company alum block that I bought to try, which I'll break that out when this one is gone. And I still have one or two more of the Ozma in reserve, but I was getting too low to satisfy me. And I'm sure at some point I'm just going to have to give up on all that stuff because I'm getting too old to have 10, 15, 20 years worth of stuff in reserve. I exaggerate, but you know what I mean. At some point, it just is not even so much a question about where do I store it. I can always find room or make room to store it, but it's a question of, am I ever going to get around to using it all? And I'm getting, on some of the soaps, I'm getting a little bit low on, but I don't plan to replace them. For example, tobacco soap, I've got 4 or 5 in reserve of tobacco. I've got 4 or 5 in reserve of Mitchell's wool fat. A couple of others that I've got several in reserve of. And not to mention the Martin de Condre. I've got 10 jars of that stuff, and the 5 that I've been working off of for the last 3-4 years is only down about so much from the top, and I got about that much left in each jar. So how much is that? How much longer are those going to last? Well, quite some time, I dare say, which is, all right. Which is all right. Got a little variety. All right, let's all right. That's my shave basin that I shave out of. As I've said several times here of late, that this sink on the countertop here is worthless to me. And I don't even try to fool with it anymore. I will not say more. But the nice thing about this is collapsible. I can put it under the sink. All right, that's all out of the way. Now I got that on. Let's finish out this little thing of Sterling Soap Company Executive Man Aftershave Balm. And there's just not much in this, oh, I know. And that's okay. Yeah, it's not. But it might be enough for today. And that's it. We'll throw it away. We will throw this little cellophane away, or this little... Yeah, so that's about what we got out of it. I'm going to throw this away. Over here in a little side thing. No, there's not enough. Not enough here to do anything about it. We'll try some follow-on. We'll add some George Trumper coral. Okay, there. Yeah, there's not much left in that one either. Oh yeah, much better. And again, I'm not an expert with the aftershave treatments like this. Skin Food Balm. But it seems to me the sequence is as I am doing. I could have put on a layer of Thayer's or the citrus. Lucky Tiger. I could have. See, that's dry already, which is good. But it's also empty, close enough to empty. I'm going to put it upside down and use these next time. All right, now. I'm going to go with Lime Sec, Pinaud Lime Sec. Very nice. Very nice. And that is it. Thank you for joining me. Hour and 6-7 minutes, including the head shave. And so I'll have this posted up later this afternoon. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you down the road.